What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and I just finished up watching Joshua Buatsi versus Craig Richards, and this was a 12-rounder for the WBA light heavyweight world title eliminator, and this fight was Saturday, May 21st, from the O2 Arena in London, England, and this fight was broadcasted on DAZN, and in this fight, Joshua Buatsi was able to get a close unanimous decision victory over Craig Richards, so I personally scored this bout 116 to 112 in favor of Joshua Buatsi. The three judges scored this bout 116 to 112, agreeing with my scorecard, and 115 to 113 twice, all in favor of Buatsi. So this fight was really a tale between two halves. Like I did predict, Joshua Buatsi would have most of his success in the first half, whilst Craig Richards would sort of have more of his success in the latter half of the fight. So just to break it down, Joshua Buatsi, although he was winning almost every single round up until round 7, round 8, around there. Or my scorecard, actually, I had it maybe 8-9-0 up until or 8-0, maybe 7-0 up until up until Richards actually started to have some success. I might have had it 70-62 up until Richards won the last 5 rounds, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. I'm not really too sure if that's what most people had it, but maybe you could have given Richards an earlier round, but really Richards really came on in the second half of the fight. And just to talk about their styles, in the first half of the fight, Joshua Buatsi was very calculated, very accurate, skillful with his shots, landing big punches, and although that Richards was losing the majority of the rounds in the first half, he was still in the fight. The rounds were competitive, but Buatsi was just doing a bit more to win them. But in the second half, Joshua Buatsi, he really looked like he started to get a bit tired, and Richard's shots started to land a bit more heavily. And to get into some of the bigger rounds in this fight, in the 5th round, it was really a war. That was a round that could have went either way. I edged it to Buatsi, and it was really a war. Both of them were exchanging. Excellent round that was. And to get into the latter part of the fight, Craig Richards actually was able to hurt Buatsi a few times. He was really just utilizing his reach, utilizing his long arms to really get in there, get through Buatsi's guard with his long uppercuts and really score points, and even hurt Buatsi, as in in the 10th round, there was also a moment where Richards was hurt a bit. Richards was sort of backed up and sort of bruised up with some big combinations, and also in the 8th round, it was a big round for both fighters. It was a war of a round, but Buatsi was really hurt bad with a nice uppercut, trying to get into the clinch, trying to get away from the offense of Richards as he was trying to defend himself thoroughly to not really get stopped or further hit with more combinations. So that goes into the question, obviously, with Joshua Buatsi getting this win, what is next for him? So he won this eliminator here. This was a very solid win, obviously. I think in his next fight, he's definitely due for maybe a WBA regular world title shot, a vacant, obviously, regular title against someone else who's highly ranked by the WBA. Or he could take on someone else who's in the top 15 or top 10 in the light heavyweight division. And I don't really think he's going to take on the WBA light heavyweight world champion Dimitri Bivol because he's busy with Canelo Alvarez, maybe even with Gilberto Ramirez. But I don't really think they're going to give this fight, or the big title fight, to Buatsi, considering he's sort of a rising name in the UK, and not really many people know him in the US. But as for a Ramirez, a little bit more popular, and obviously Canelo Alvarez is world recognized, and he could definitely get that rematch with Bivol, as opposed to these light heavyweights who are winning these eliminators for the WBA. So in his next fight, I think that he will take on someone for maybe the regular WBA title, or even another top 15, top 10 light heavyweight in a 12-round main event. But as for Craig Richards here, losing for the 3rd time in his career, he is still definitely a top 15 fighter in the light heavyweight division. He proved that here. He was able to have a very competitive and good fight against Buatsi. He had a very competitive fight that most people thought was competitive. I thought Bivol went clear, but many people say he had a competitive fight with Bivol, and he proved here tonight, once again, as I mentioned before, he's a very solid fighter. So I think in his next fight he will take on a guy that's just outside like the top 25 in the light heavyweight division, get a solid win, and maybe get called up for another very, very big fight like this, maybe in a fight or two after taking on some guys like in the top 25 in the light heavyweight division. So overall, Joshua Buatsi defeats Craig Richards by unanimous decision to win the WBA light heavyweight world title eliminator. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.